Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Have you ever listened to a news anchor or a reporter and just thought, where in the world are they getting this from? Well, you're not alone, and there's a reason for it. Journalism. Now, there's a word that's lost a bit of its shine over the years, wouldn't you say? We've all been around long enough to witness an alarming transformation from being guardians of truth to peddlers of narratives. And today we're going to define what the reporters are doing and why they're doing it so that you'll never miss it again. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So what would you do for the refreshing sound of unbiased, hard-hitting journalism at its best? Would you pay for that? A lot of people are. A recent article I wrote was about something that many of us have noticed. The crux is journalism today. I use that term lightly. It seems to be more about activists than actual reporters. Do you remember when Fox News used to say, "We report, you decide"? It seems like a lifetime ago, right? Today's journalism seems more like we decide and you accept. Don't get me wrong. I think, thankfully, we have some great reporters who haven't been swayed by the progressive haze, if you will, that seems to be plaguing mainstream news outlets. Most, not all, of those are called independent journalists today. Reporters like Matt Taibbi, Lar Loomer, Megyn Kelly, Glenn Greenwald, Tucker Carlson, Bill O'Reilly, and others. They do a fantastic job at getting the truth out, while the fake news folks try to undercut them. But the people aren't buying it anymore. The problem is there are not enough of the independent types to save the industry from the scrutiny that it gets. And isn't it hilarious? In a world where trust in media is plummeting, some are finding solace in bloggers who are often deemed more truthful than news anchors today. Well, at least there's someone keeping it real, right? In my story, I lay out that there are two prevailing types of journalism. There's correspondence theory of truth and performative theory of truth. Now, stay with me. Correspondence theory is saying basically, hey, it's wet outside because it's raining. Simple, right? You could say it's cold outside, and that's because the thermometer would show it's 32 degrees. In other words, correspondence theory is when you make a statement that is based on a fact that has been based in the past, right? Aristotle, the ancient philosopher whom today's journalists might think is a brand of tea. Well, he defined truth as the simple alignment of statements with reality. Aristotle's definition of truth was to say of what is that it is not, or of what is not that it is false, while to say of what is that it is and of what is not that it is not is true. I don't really think that most of today's mainstream journalists would even know who Aristotle was, let alone what his definition means. But they certainly act like they don't. But why stick to such a tedious ancient notion of truth when you could just make things up, right? Enter performative truth. This is where folks in the media craft a narrative devoid of facts and push it as reality. Basically, they declare something as truth and voila, poof, it magically becomes so. Who needs evidence when you have a powerful narrative, right? For example, Joe Biden took a bribe would be based on a Burisma whistleblower who said he was the one who paid Joe Biden the bribe and provided the documents to prove it. The statement is based on a fact that was shown to be true by the documents and by the witness, right? That would be correspondence truth. By the way, we used to call reporters correspondents for that reason. Now, as an example of performative truth, what reporters today would be doing is saying, there is no evidence that Joe Biden took a bribe. Therefore, this impeachment inquiry is only because the Republicans are being vindictive.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I just ask, what actual evidence do you have as opposed to allegations to show to the American public that would merit an actual impeachment inquiry of Joe Biden and prove that today isn't just about some of you?
Oh, I don't know. We have the bank accounts. We can see, ma'am, you can see that the homes that the Bidens own can't be afforded on a congressional or Senate salary. You also understand that it's not normal for family members to receive millions of dollars from overseas interests. Those things aren't normal. That's not normal to have 20 shell companies. These things are not normal, and it alludes to not only just widespread corruption, but money laundering, if not influence peddling itself. And we also have the president, the vice president at the time, on record saying that the prosecutor was fired. Well, son of a bitch, the prosecutor was fired.
Now, this example is being used by nearly every mainstream news media person today because they want the people who read or listen to them to believe that Joe Biden did not take a bribe. The Corresponding Truth says he did, but these people are not interested in telling the truth. They're more activists than journalists, and they advocate for left-wing causes. This isn't just about the topics being covered, but how they're being framed. This performative theory feeds the rise of advocacy journalism, where reality is twisted to fit a preconceived notion, and you advocate for the made-up belief. You could say, we need to punish those who say that Joe Biden took a bribe, since we have already established that there is no evidence. Or how about, we need to censor people who say the 2020 election was stolen because there is no evidence. It was the most pristine election of all time. And of course, let's not forget our good old friend confirmation bias, which is when a reporter specifically bases their statements on a prior belief that was done using performative theory. It would go something like, well, we know that Joe Biden didn't take a bribe. That's already been established. Established by a fabricated performative declaration with no evidence provided for proof. You see how that works? So the next time you hear a so-called journalist make a declarative statement that makes you cringe up front, ask them to provide proof of their statement. They all have emails. If they point to other networks that have said it, repeat the request for proof. If they try to bluff their way out of it, repeat the request for truth. Make them earn their lies. Maybe if enough Americans got used to calling them out more often for fabricating the news, they would be too embarrassed to continue doing it. Hey, a guy can dream, can he? All right, so make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Share our videos with like-minded friends so we can get them out there to more people. Stay informed, stay vigilant, always read between the lines and the media's lies. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.
1, 2, 3, your attention's all I need. 4, 5, 6, don't let it slip. I don't have any favorite. Just give me any.